The 2003 invasion of Iraq, spearheaded by the United States, aimed to dismantle Saddam Hussein's regime and bring about a new era of democracy and stability in the region. The primary justification for the invasion was to prevent the use of weapons of mass destruction, which were believed to be in Saddam's possession. The Bush administration argued that a democratic Iraq would serve as a beacon of stability in the volatile Middle East, potentially inspiring democratic movements in neighboring countries. However, the war's architects failed to anticipate the unintended consequences that would unravel the region's delicate balance of power and empower Iran, America's longtime adversary. The removal of Saddam Hussein, a Sunni leader, disrupted the sectarian balance, leading to unforeseen complications. The invasion, based on flawed intelligence and questionable motives, unleashed a chain reaction of instability and violence that continues to reverberate today. The absence of weapons of mass destruction further eroded the credibility of the coalition forces. The swift military victory against Saddam's forces was only the opening act of a protracted conflict. The initial success gave way to a complex and bloody insurgency that the coalition forces were ill-prepared to handle. The subsequent occupation, marred by miscalculations and a lack of planning, created a power vacuum that Iran skillfully exploited. The disbanding of the Iraqi army and the de-Ba'athification policy left thousands of armed men unemployed and resentful. The rise of sectarian violence, fueled by the dismantling of Iraqi institutions and the empowerment of Shia militias, further played into Iran's hands. The Shia majority, long oppressed under Saddam, now saw an opportunity to assert their dominance. The war, initially framed as a fight against tyranny and terrorism, inadvertently paved the way for Iran's ascendancy, transforming the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East in profound and unforeseen ways. Iran's influence in Iraq grew, extending its reach across the region. The Iraq War serves as a stark reminder of the law of unintended consequences in international affairs. The initial goals of the invasion were overshadowed by the long-term repercussions that reshaped the Middle East. It underscores the importance of careful planning, a nuanced understanding of regional dynamics, and a realistic assessment of potential risks before embarking on military interventions. The lessons learned from Iraq continue to inform military and diplomatic strategies worldwide. The Middle East, before the Iraq War, was characterized by a tense but relatively stable balance of power. The region, with its rich history and complex political landscape, was a mosaic of alliances and rivalries. Saddam Hussein's Iraq, while a brutal dictatorship, acted as a counterweight to Iran's revolutionary ambitions. His regime, though oppressive, played a crucial role in maintaining this delicate equilibrium. Both countries, vying for regional dominance, possessed significant military capabilities and competed for influence within the Arab world. The 8-year-long Iran-Iraq war had left both nations wary but determined to assert their power. Saudi Arabia, a key US ally and the leading Sunni power in the region, viewed both Iraq and Iran with suspicion. The kingdom's vast oil reserves and strategic location made it a pivotal player in Middle Eastern geopolitics. The Saudis feared Iranian efforts to export its Islamic revolution and saw Saddam's secular regime as a bulwark against Iranian expansionism. This fear was rooted in the ideological and sectarian divide between Sunni Saudi Arabia and Shia Iran. The US, pursuing a policy of dual containment, sought to isolate both Iran and Iraq, limiting their influence and preventing either from dominating the region. This strategy involved a mix of military presence, economic sanctions, and diplomatic maneuvers. This strategy, while imperfect, maintained a degree of equilibrium and prevented large-scale conflicts. The balance was delicate, requiring constant attention and adjustment to the shifting dynamics of the region. The overthrow of Saddam Hussein, a key pillar of this regional order, shattered the existing balance of power and created a vacuum that Iran was quick to fill. The invasion led to unforeseen consequences, destabilizing the region further. The US invasion, while removing a dictator, inadvertently strengthened Iran's hand and set the stage for its regional ascendancy. The power vacuum allowed Iran to extend its influence into Iraq, altering the geopolitical landscape in ways that continue to resonate today. The fall of Saddam Hussein's regime in 2003 unleashed a wave of chaos and instability that engulfed Iraq, leading to unforeseen consequences and reverberated throughout the entire region, affecting neighboring countries as well. The swift military victory against Iraqi forces gave way to a protracted and bloody insurgency, fueled by sectarian tensions and the emergence of al-Qaeda in Iraq, a precursor to the notorious ISIS. The US-led coalition provisional authority tasked with governing post-invasion Iraq made a series of critical errors that exacerbated the country's descent into chaos and disorder. The decision to disband the Iraqi army, composed largely of Sunni soldiers, created a pool of disgruntled and well-armed men, susceptible to recruitment by insurgent groups and militias. The de-Baathification policy, aimed at purging members of Saddam's Baath party from government positions, further alienated Sunnis and fueled resentment against the US-backed government, deepening the divide. The collapse of law and order, coupled with the rise of sectarian militias, plunged Iraq into a spiral of violence and instability, making daily life perilous. This chaotic environment provided fertile ground for Iran to expand its influence and undermine US efforts to stabilize the country, complicating the geopolitical landscape. Iran, recognizing the strategic opportunity presented by the US invasion of Iraq, moved swiftly to expand its influence in the country and the wider region. The power vacuum created by the fall of Saddam Hussein's regime provided Iran with a unique chance to assert its dominance. Leveraging its long-standing ties with Iraqi Shia political parties and militias, Iran provided financial and military support, bolstering their power and influence within the post-Saddam government. This support was not just limited to arms and money, it also included strategic advice and training. The Quds Force, the elite overseas arm of Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, played a pivotal role in training, arming and directing Iraqi Shia militias, many of which were integrated into the Iraqi security forces. Under the leadership of Qasem Soleimani, these militias became highly effective and loyal to Tehran. These Iranian-backed militias became a powerful force in Iraqi politics and security, often acting with impunity and advancing Iranian interests. Their presence in the streets and in political meetings underscored their significant influence. Iran also cultivated close ties with key figures in the Iraqi government, many of whom had sought refuge in Iran during Saddam Hussein's rule. These relationships were instrumental in shaping the new political landscape of Iraq. These political alliances provided Iran with leverage over Iraqi decision-making and allowed it to exert influence over government policies. Iranian diplomats were frequently seen in Baghdad, negotiating and ensuring that Iranian interests were safeguarded. Through a combination of political maneuvering, military support for allied militias and economic investments, Iran steadily expanded its influence in Iraq, transforming the country into a key theater in its regional power play. This multifaceted approach ensured that Iran's presence in Iraq was deeply entrenched and multifarious, affecting various aspects of Iraqi society and governance. Please like, share and subscribe for more videos like this.